My take: in real life, streamers are playing with fire. Drama and controversy might boost views right now, but keep it up and they're going to get banned from events. At some point, organizers won't see them as exposure anymore, and they'll see them more as a liability. My take: in real life, streamers are playing with fire. Drama and controversy might boost views right now, but keep it up and they're going to get banned from events. At some point, organizers won't see them as exposure anymore, and they'll see them more as a liability. Completely agree with this. There is a certainly a growing attention to things like this, whether it's the athlete or pop star that's
Hmm.
joining somebody else's stream. We saw it recently with Puka. He got in the news for kind of the wrong reasons with
Hmm.
some things he said, and the Rams didn't seem too thrilled about it either. There hasn't been a whole lot of public speaking on their end, but it's just a bad image, and that's one way to kind of see it. And then the other way is, the streamers themselves in the positions that they
Hmm.
put them in. Obviously, they're looking for clicks, as this take says, and all the attention because, the battle to be a top streamer is it's extremely competitive. And the only way to keep viewers watching for longer is doing crazy stuff. And we
Hmm.
saw that recently with God, what's his name? I
Jack
just know he's kind of short.
Jack Doherty.
Jack Doherty. Yes, Jack Doherty. And don't I don't I saw the fight it's that was occurring at
Hmm.
the Jake Paul fight over the weekend
Hmm.
and kind of happened on the outskirts of the arena, it seemed, but got in a fight with some other fight crew, and that caused Jack Doherty's crew to get in a fight with them. They're getting smacked around. Like it was,
Hmm.
younger men, that were just getting kind of just slapped in a way. Like, they didn't really stand a chance. It was like 1-on-3 and the dude was just manhandling them. Like it wasn't a good image. And then, a zoomed out photo showed Jack Doherty, obviously behind his security, even though he's probably one of the ones that caused the scene. So
Hmm.
it's like, of course they can go hide behind security, things like that. Now they're putting their security in jeopardy for really no reason other than streaming content.
Hmm.
And it in my opinion, and I'm sure in the eyes of a lot of others, it's just kind of old. Like
Yeah.
nobody likes to see that stuff. Nobody cares about your relevancy, in that sort of way. Like find new ways, be innovative. Don't cause fights to stir drama.
Hmm.
Like we saw it at a recent UFC event where the fighter fought, a crew, and he got banned from the UFC
Hmm.
permanently. Like, it happens. He's not even a streamer, but somebody
Yeah.
that just goes and does a bunch of antics and
Hmm.
causes issues. So it's a bad light. And then on top of that, like eventually platforms are going to get to a point where is this guy kind of a liability? Is he
Hmm.
going to cause issues? Are we, the eyes, the I guess the product that gives him so many views to do stuff like this, then of course you're going to be dragged along in it.
Yeah.
You're going to have a platform of 100, 200,000 people watching, a fight that, God forbid, ends tragically. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah. And I don't know. It's just kind of obnoxious. Like, and then just the hide is
Yeah.
so lame. Like, dude, if you're going to start it, I don't know, just at least get some action or
Yeah.
something, like whatever. And I think he was recently arrested, if I'm not mistaken, because he refused to move out of the way of like police in the middle of a street.
Hmm.
And like he was just asking for it and got arrested for it and spent a night in
Yeah.
jail, I guess. And I don't know, it's just at a certain point, what kind of
Yeah.
influence are you?
Yeah, and with this take, I think we talked about it a little bit, especially when it happened. It's like I see why he does all his stuff and why it's popular because and I don't know if this is just the old person in me, the older generation, but I'm just like it's not that funny. Like I said, it just pops up on my For You page, when I'm scrolling. I don't watch all the time. Sometimes I just skip it. But the reason I saw this is because, the person he was fighting, Andrei Arlovsky, if you know UFC and you follow UFC, this guy, the Pitbull, man, this guy was a G back in the day, and why mess with him? You guys are out of your mind for even trying, and that's the other thing. It's like you saw who it was, you didn't even recognize who it was. Like I said, that shows that you're not even a true person in this fight realm in the UFC and boxing. You're just there for the clout. Just, it's a Jake Paul event. So, and it's like, there's no respect to it. So that's why I think, there's a lot of IRL streamers that are really good and are respectful, do it the right way, I think. Not causing controversy, really just being themselves. But then there's some like Jack, Neon at times has done some shady stuff. There's quite a few people, and I think you touched on it a little bit with the Puka Nakua-ish thing. They do it for likes. Others also do it for money because I could imagine what type of payday Aiden Ross and Neon gave Puka to go on stream. But just like we mentioned with this take, organizers won't see them as exposure anymore. It's going to be more of a liability. Eventually, famous people are going to see these streamers the same. Yes, they're paying me 100K to go onto their stream, but if they put me in a sticky situation that I could lose my career, I'm gonna get blackballed from the NFL, Puka couldn't gotten a big fine if he would have gone with that celebration if he didn't find out before the game. And like I said, that could ruin careers. And like I say, is it really worth it? I think there's going to be some people that are going to start stepping away from that in real life with these controversy names, even if the paycheck's really high. Because like I say, is it worth it for reputation?
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like with a lot of streamers, I feel like the word reputation in general, obviously, like you want to maintain, a
Hmm.
level of professionalism to not get absolutely
Hmm.
canceled. But at the same time, it's like, they all kind of develop these, I guess, online characters or
Hmm.
reputations of like, I don't know, a lot of it's just immaturity. And then that
Yeah.
gets a lot of clicks because like people find funny moments in that. And it's hilarious that, he's pulling some antic. Um, but yeah, I mean, in general, like I feel like you and I are gonna sound a lot like get off our lawn with this,
Yeah.
but I feel like I feel like a lot of it though, like in comments I've seen specifically with, the fight, and everything, it's like, yeah, people watch it, talk about it, but it's not really good. Like I feel like the reputation that Jack Doherty has in a lot of like clips I see on him isn't really great. It's like more like poking fun at him versus
Hmm.
like anything else.
Yeah.
Like Drewski, for example. That dude, like one comment I see is like that guy's everywhere but home because he's
Hmm.
just always somewhere doing something.
Yeah.
And honestly, that I can see that is pretty good. You have it goes on and on, and
Hmm.
it's just after a while again, like you brought up like sponsorships, things like that, like what companies are going to be want to be associated with them.
Hmm.
um I also saw, in specific to the Jake Paul fight, I read an article today that I guess he's suing people that were talking about, possibly the event being rigged.
Hmm.
And if he's going to that level with critics of the show, like if you start drama in a fight in the show, as Jack Doherty did in this
Hmm.
occasion, like, is he going to be disinvited to future Jake Paul events? Like, I don't know how
Hmm.
close they are, but like,
Yeah.
you got to think like
Hmm.
it could turn into something bigger.
Yeah.
For example, another one, Vitali, that dude, he doesn't really stream in, I don't think he's been relevant in years. But like he was known for like streaking at like, I think he
Hmm.
did it at the World Cup, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
He's in at
So
many
then,
events.
yeah, there you go. Then it
Hmm.
just cuts ties to a bunch of future events. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you just got to think like, is it worth it? Is the stunt worth it? Like, yeah,
Hmm.
clout chasing is very real these days.
Yeah, no, it's real. And like I say, sometimes I get it. Some people might call us hypocrites and stuff because we have our hot takes. But like I say, we're not out there trying to cause harm. It's just, these are some of the takes that we honestly believe. So, when it
Hmm.
comes down to doing things with like other professionals, we've honestly been very professional with all other than our friends we've had fun with, but like when we had Zach, it was really, he's a comedian, so we went through that route. But if it's like someone, from like finances, we're not gonna, we'll throw in our comedy here and there, but we're not gonna do something to risk his career, their careers and stuff like that because it's like it's about the respect thing, because we're here collaborating. So, and like I said, people might just complain. All these young kids are gonna come at us him because it's like we're just the old heads. We're the unks talking about this and talking about
Yeah.
a kid. But it's like it's like I said, for me, it was just bad. And then I think the other factor with this is, I watched the video. I, he doesn't fully start it, but then it's like his buddies jump in,
Mm.
and then that's the other factor. I think it's like the crowd you're with. It's like because I saw him
Yeah.
sort of saying like I didn't start anything, they started it, that other crew started. I try to keep the peace. And when I looked at the video, I was like, yeah, you really didn't start much, but I'm like, but your posse did. So that's still part of, that's your connection. So that is
Yeah.
an association of you. So if your posse does anything, that's an association of you, and you got to deal with the repercussions and the consequences of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Who got the invite there? Most likely he did.
Yeah.
So, whoever comes along with him, it's a
Mhm.
package deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just that's just the way it works. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then his posse didn't have any security to stand behind. So I guess, you know, they hung in there to an extent, then started backing away and running away.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm also not surprised that, we're seeing
Hmm.
stuff like this, especially at streamer levels at a Jake Paul fight.
Yeah.
Because, he started off obviously on YouTube and got really big through there. And, just it's
Hmm.
become a career with, his brother as well. Yeah, not
Yeah.
not surprised. Not
Yeah,
surprised.
not surprised. I think events like this that are like streamer events, you'll still see it. But I think like big events like, Super Bowl, they're gonna have to pay like a high ticket price. And they may also like start banning like, yeah, you can't stream at all. You can't record. You just gotta have your phone, no IRL streaming, if you wanna attend the event. They're gonna stop them at the gate from doing that because they know when that happens they're there to make content and just cause chaos. And like I said, NFL is not going to want that at the Super Bowl. The World Cup, I think they may try to sort of, cut down on that. But Jake Paul events, the creator type fights, all these creator type things, you'll see it a little bit more. But like I said, these big name brand events, I think you're going to start seeing it less and less.
Yeah, yeah, completely agree. And then yeah, places like the NFL Super Bowl, they have, more professional status to kind
Yeah.
of uphold
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
adhere to.
If they're kicking out Soul President just for some of his comments, like these guys can't be, 100 feet from the stadium entrance.
For sure. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
absolutely. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.